be a mixed bag, but it's an all about Trek with the original series. So let's just get to it. I don't have to explain that. I have a boatload of these. Okay, so when the Enterprise received the initial territorial warning from the, how do I say this? It's yeah, I see Spectre. That Miltokian. All right, the space buoy. Crew members heard it in what language? Okay, so because it was a telepathic buoy, they heard it in their first language. So Spock heard it as Vulcan, Kirk heard it as English, and Uhura heard it as Swahili. I think that's the only. Those are the only ones, unless Chekhov was there, and he might have said Russian too. So it's the first language they acquired. That's how they heard the message. Spectre of the Gun. That's an odd episode. I don't think it's a bad one. They made it was a money saving one, so they incorporated the lack of sets into the entire premise of it. It still works. I wouldn't know anything about Billy the Kid without Spectre of the Gun. So, or the OK Corral. That's all right. Was Billy the Kid in there? Anyway, OK Corral. I guess I don't know anything about it. So there we go. Uh, just as educational as like that Jane Russell movie from 1941, like The Outlaw. I'll put a link to The Outlaw down there. Okay, on starships, uniform color typically signals the department in which you work. Yes, for example, the starships of Kirk eras, a gold shirt indicates the wearer is the command track. What does red signify? That's a long way around the barn just to ask the question, what does red mean? And red means engineering and security, or just plain old operations. So let's call engineering in TNG speak operations. Oh, of course, no, operations was TOS speak, because when I hear operations, I hear Starbase operations, Starbase operations, Starbase operations from the menagerie. Starbase operations, Starbase operation. I feel like I want to do like 20 minutes just saying that in different ways, and I don't know. I had to push that tendency down. No one needs that. Okay, next question. Which Star Trek series guest villain makes a return appearance in one of the Star... This isn't even worth my time. It's Khan. Have you heard of Khan before? I hear that was a Star Trek movie that no one can stop making. What goes wrong in the M5's multitronic brain that Richard Daystrom decided to model the M5's computer engrams on? Of course, engrams is somewhat of a real term that was incorporated by a certain individual in a following. So what goes wrong with the brain? I don't know how to explain this in a way that would be on the back of a trivia card. What went wrong with M5 was Richard Daystrom, because he modeled the multitronic brain on his own, and he had some issues, and engrams are in there for some reason. So I look forward to seeing how the card explains things. Complete this question from McCoy. Are you out of your Vulcan mind? Yeah, I was did there for a minute. It is Vulcan mind. And Vulcan sounds a lot like Falcon, which sounds a lot like you can take it from there. So there's your Vulcan question. How about that? All right, let's that it's gonna be this show's gonna be called Never mind. All right, so doop 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 doop. Yes, hey, Vulcan, English, Russian, Swahili, got them all there. Engineering, variety of ship services, including communication, security, and historical research. Yes, we remember Lieutenant Marlena MacGyver. Suddenly, we needed a ship's historian just in case we run into 20th century tyrants on a boat. But we never see the historians show up again in the series. because they have a tendency to romanticize that. Operations. I'm right. I'm taking credit for this question. Live with it. Yep. Mistakenly believes the stage war games are actual attacks on the Enterprise itself and launches a deadly attack on other vessels in the games. Well, I mean, okay, so I misinterpreted the question. I didn't think it was asking for specifics. I was getting into what was wrong with the brain itself. That's what was wrong with the brain. This is what happened in the show. I'm gonna be that guy. I have a question. What we did in the show was understand the brain and not didn't give us an idea of why it was this way. I'm gonna be that kind of Milton / comic guy from The Simpsons. So there we go. That's it. That is the answer to the question that I'm answering for you. So goodbye. All right, and the Vulcan Mine. Well, that was a fun little trivia card. I don't know how you felt about that. I'm gonna go take a nap. That's how I feel about my day. So, all right. Well, to be continued as always.